Hi again, this is Mike, the Philosopher Engineer. Welcome to another episode of Mike's Saturday Rant. It's Saturday, May 23rd, 2020. On Saturdays, I find something to complain about, but this is really kind of an insight and maybe a rant as well. But the topic for today's rant is engineers are people too. Well, you can see I've had this here for a while. Engineers are people too. We're focused on product development and going faster and accelerating product development. And to do that, we need the right people and the right process. I leave this up on a regular basis because it's really teamwork and people and matching it. But for today's rant, I'm focused on engineers are people too. And we can go many different ways with this, but right now we can focus on how engineers think about themselves and how other people think about engineers. In the business setting, if we're working on technology and product development, we need engineers, and there's many different types of engineers. There's electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, software engineers, and a whole bunch of other maybe more specialized human factors engineers, industrial designers. There's all sorts of disciplines in terms of engineering and science. But what I want to talk about is how unique each engineer is. So, we're people too. We have different behaviors, we have different levels of experience, different types of experience, etc. So I'm going to hit on three big factors that if you're managing a company and working with engineers, probably the worst way to think about it is I need think of engineers as commodities. I need 3 of this flavor and 2 of this flavor. I mean, obviously that's not going to get you there. In large companies, you have different levels of engineering by experience, and there's often mentorship and development within the company, because at the university, you're learning the tools, but not necessarily how to apply them. So 3 things I want to focus on is when you're hiring an engineer, you have the level of experience. Are they fairly inexperienced, maybe less than 5 years of experience, or fresh out of college? Have they been working in product development for decades? But that's just the level of experience in their resume. The other part is the type of experience and how well does it match with the project that you have. So if you have experience in machinery, and then you're going to work on medical device disposables with plastics and elastomers, it's a different type of experience. And that means that there's going to be a learning curve. And that may be fine, but these are all things that have to factor in, even though they could be of the same engineering discipline. And then the third one, and this is probably a lot more important than people recognize, and that's the behaviors and drives of that individual. So engineers are people too. We have some people that are big thinkers and inventors and creative people. And we have other engineers that are very detail oriented. Maybe they're perfectionists and maybe they like analysis. So you have a whole range of types of behaviors. And in general, to be successful with your teams and your company, you're trying to align the person with the role as well as you can. And you can adjust it also. So that's really important. So we're really trying to talk about how well does that person fit with that role. And if you have team dynamics, you often want some obviously diversity of experience, diversity of insights. And as a team, you can look at the team dynamics, and that team can be more effective by having people with different approaches, not just in the level of experience, but in the way that they communicate, in the way that they make decisions and take action. And so this is something to be aware of. So let's say engineers are people too, we should think as much about sort of the nuances of their behavior and their personalities as we do their resume and on paper what flavor of engineer they are. So that's my quick rant. I didn't want to go on too long about it. I just want to make that point. Also, in smaller companies, it's very difficult sometimes to have enough mentorship. So you have an inexperienced engineer and you're asking that person to do a very challenging thing for the company that's really critical to the success. If there's not enough internal mentorship, it often makes sense to have outside consultants come in and provide that role in terms of leadership or guidance or mentorship. It's only going to help your company, because it's more important that your company succeed financially, that it grows, and that you overcome these obstacles than to try to do everything in-house. And some companies have sort of this notion that we can do everything in-house, when that's often not practical on a number of levels. Often you need a level of expertise for a short time period to help your internal team move faster and solve problems quicker, and it's not practical to hire that person as an employee, and they're not often even available to be hired. So a couple things to think about. Engineers are people too. We're trying to get things done, help facilitate teams to be effective and productive, and equip all the individuals and the teams to really be successful, and everybody wins, and that's all it takes. So next time you think about hiring an engineer, look at not just the resume, the types of experience, and the behaviors and drives. There's all sorts of personalities and drives and behaviors, and the better you match them to that role and to the team dynamics, you'll see great results. Anyways, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk again soon. And I'm sure next week we'll come up with some other thing to complain about and to rant about. So thank you very much.